They laugh at us all over the world. They're laughing at us. And you know what they're really laughing at? Kamala, because they can't believe that she's going to be president. They can't believe. You talk about cognitive problems? She's got bigger cognitive problems than he has, in my opinion.
That should be checked out. I think that Kamala should have to take a test, and Joe Biden, he never took a cognitive test, did he? Democrats don't have to do that. Donald Trump had to do that when he was president because of tweets, mean tweets. Kamala, on the other hand, not so bright. Not so bright, that one. Yes, sir. Bomb, bomb, bomb. President Trump was in Savannah, Georgia yesterday. Beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Been there, liked it very much, full of mysteries. And if you ask him what he's planning on doing as president, he can tell you. In fact, you don't even have to ask him a lot of the time if he's got a crowd in front of him. And as he did yesterday in Savannah, Georgia, and he's talking to the nice people. Let's go to soundbite number 1 of President Trump yesterday in Savannah, Georgia, talking about what he's going to do when he reassumes the White House.
We're cutting the business tax from 21% to 15%, which makes us the most competitive tax anywhere on the planet, but only for those who make their product in the USA. She's called the tax queen. They love her in other countries because she forces everybody out of our country into their hands. The tax queen is demanding a 33% tax hike on all domestic production.
And you know, they love this left-wing thing is, yeah, we're going to stick it to the man. We're going to charge corporate tax. We're going to make the billionaires pay. And the big lie behind that, and the corrupt media plays games with this, is, of course, that everything is passed along to us. Everything is passed along to you and me. If it costs Ford, the Ford Automobile Corporation, 10% more to make an automobile or whatever it is they're making, then that gets tagged onto our bill. But these statists, these governmentalists, they pretend like they're doing something noble by sticking it to the man, to Mr. Charlie. Megacorp. They hate Megacorp, and they're going to stick it to them. But in reality, of course, they're sticking it to us. And if we had a news media, then they'd say, well, wait a minute. You're not sticking it to anybody but all the voters who are going to end up paying the price for your policies. But keep in mind that the news media is the most corrupt institution in the United States of America. Isn't it amazing? President Trump yesterday talking about, what he would do.
Kamala's illegals are also crushing your wages and stealing your jobs. Last month alone, think of this, American-born workers lost 1.3 million jobs and migrants gained 635,000 jobs. So as we create millions of new manufacturing jobs here in Georgia and nationwide, we will make sure that these jobs go to American citizens, not illegal citizens.
Americans, not illegals, not illegal aliens, he's talking about there. If you're illegal, you're probably not a citizen. Could be a Democrat. You're illegal and you're a citizen. And the Democrats want to give citizenship or the equivalent thereof to every illegal alien gang member that comes in here to attack your children because they don't like people. That's the thing about them. They don't like people. They don't like us. They don't like the United States of America. There's not really much they like. All right, Kamala does, she's going to do a TV interview this evening, I think at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Be sure to tune in to MSDNC. Just kidding. Don't really. Why would you? Don't be ridiculous. If anything ridiculous, and something ridiculous will be said, I'll have the sound bites for you tomorrow. But Kamala was on public radio in Wisconsin. That's where she was, right? In Wisconsin on, National Panhandler Radio. They're everywhere. It's the taxpayer-funded propaganda network for the Democrat Party. They're in every big city and small hamlet across America. So Kamala was on with, National Panhandler Radio in Wisconsin. And she's very excited about, she thinks, becoming president and doing away with the filibuster. She's not in the Senate anymore. The Senate would have to decide, but she's pushing for it. Do away with the filibuster so you can pass whatever crazy agenda you have. You know, the Senate, historically, and it was designed by geniuses. Kamala Harris is not one of those. But the geniuses figured out that the upper chamber, the Senate, in our bicameral legislature, the United States Senate, would slow down the mad rush and the frenzied hurry to get things done quickly and get it done now and pound the table. And the House of Representatives can yell and scream and throw things and pass things quickly, but they used to say that the Senate was the saucer underneath your cup of hot coffee or hot tea that cools the process, slows it down. And the filibuster is a key part of that for certain legislation, you need 60 votes in the Senate, 2/3. And when when the Senate didn't have 100 people going back, but now it's 60 senators must vote in favor of something to move it forward to the president's desk, typically. And she wants to do away with that because they love death so much. They love the human sacrifice, the baby sacrifice so much that they just can't get enough of it. And she told Panhandler Radio that because they have to restore Roe. Well, you had both houses of Congress for 2 years under Joe Biden and the White House, and you could have, under Barack Obama, you could have passed it. It hadn't been overturned then, but you could still have made it law over and over again. Instead, they took it to court, and a Democrat-dominated Supreme Court in the 1960s said, oh, yeah, we're with Roe versus Wade, right? Roe v. Wade's been overturned. They need to keep harvesting the organs of 40% of the black children in America before they're born because they're the party of the bullwhip and slavery and the plantation. And now, during slavery, they didn't set out to kill 40% of the black population, but now the Democrat Party does. Kamala Harris is very excited about this.
I think we should eliminate the filibuster for Roe, and we need
for
get
Roe.
us to the point where 51 votes would be what we need to actually put back in law the protections for reproductive freedom.
It's not the first time she's wanted to eliminate the filibuster. They just the rules don't apply. We'll just throw out everything that makes the country function so well, properly, and has for so many generations. We'll just throw that out because we want something right now. And so she stamps her little feet and we have to do away. And the National Panhandler Radio people, they sit there in agreement, nodding and being idiots. But even Senator Joe Manchin, longtime Democrat, left the Democrat Party because he finds it unrecognizable, just as RFK Jr. has said that his father and his uncle would find the Democrat Party unrecognizable. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, now an independent, longtime, lifetime Democrat, he says, no, Kamala is completely wrong about this.
I think I've been very clear my whole career is that the 60-vote threshold that we basically operate under in the Senate is essential.
Would you endorse her for president then?
I'm not endorsing her.
I'm not endorsing her. I'm not endorsing. He says not endorsing anybody. What that means is that he's not endorsing her. But, the Democrats have wanted to do away with the filibuster. And the Green New Deal. She wanted to do away with the filibuster to give the bums rush to the Green New Deal, which is like $1.5 trillion for the Democrat Party allies pretending to save the climate. They wanted to save us from the climate, these people. And so that's what she's running on, I guess, is doing away with the filibuster because abortion.
So again, back to the United States Congress, here's my point. If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
Pass the Green New Deal because you get rid of the filibuster. And they're just like teenagers. They're like punks. They have children brains. They have no respect for anything. And the Green New Deal was a $1 trillion handout to left-wing friends of the Democrat Party. And they turn around and fund the Democrat Party in kind. And people should go to penitentiaries for this kind of stuff. but largely because of a corrupt media and an inept Republican Party on Capitol Hill who don't know how to pick political fights and win them. But never mind all that. Hey, it's Mailbag Day, and we've got plenty more coming up too. But it is Mailbag Day, and so let me go to Mailbag. Let me go to the mail. Michael has provided me, and Kevin Tober provided me with 3 questions today. 3 questions. Barry Tolbert says, as a white male conservative Republican Christian, what can I do to obtain the exalted status of victim in the United States of America? Has victim in quotation marks. I'm told those who achieve this status get lots of free stuff, and I thought, why not me? Well, that's a perfectly good thought, Barry. It really is. Because almost everybody's a victim, and the truth is the only people that are not victims, the only people that are in the Democrat critical theory, critical race theory playbook, the only people that are not victims are, now you left out straight here. You said as a white male conservative Republican Christian, what can I do? You could declare yourself to be gay. That's it. But see, because the only people that are not victims are straight white males. Straight white males. It's worse if you're a Christian and a Republican, of course, for Democrats. But and that means that straight white males are the victimizers. Everyone else is a victim. All women are victims, unless it's Democrats that are sexually assaulting them, in which case they're frauds and have to flee to Russia, right? Like so many people. Just amazing. But also, Barry, you could declare yourself just to be black, like Rachel Dolezal, who is a white woman with 2 white parents and 4 white grandparents who declared herself to be black. She became one of the heads of the NAACP because she said she's black. And on MSNBC, they said, hey, she gets to decide what she is. That's what they said. So you could declare yourself to be gay, or you could just declare yourself to be black, and that's that. And the Democrats have set precedent on that front. But it's true. If you're a straight white male, you are the victimizer. Everyone else is your victim. Every POC, person of color, every woman, unless you're gay. If you're a gay white male, then you're a victim. You can go back to victim status. That's the Democrat Party playbook. Donna Myrick says, it will be Kamala's job as president of the Senate to certify the election results. If Donald J. Trump wins, do you think she will certify the election as president of the Senate, vice president of the United States? I think, they might have to find a white woman to shoot, an unarmed white woman to shoot, Donna. I don't know. I don't think we can depend on Kamala to do anything by the book because they're crooks. They're crooked people. Know what I'm saying? And so, but I look forward to finding out because when Donald Trump wins, it'll be great to watch the Democrats respond, won't it? Cynthia asks, how do you keep your cool with callers like Robin from Georgia the other day, who obviously is still living in the plantation, sipping the Communist News Network? I gotta say, Cynthia, that I try to respect everyone, and I generally do a pretty good job of that. And Robin is, I've spoken to Robin. I spoke to him the other day. I gave him a lot of time, actually. He's an African-American guy from Georgia who's a Democrat, still voting for the plantation and all that. I just try to be, unlike them, respectful of everyone and realize that some people are going to be wrong forever and ever. And I try 3 hours a day here and 1 hour a night on Newsmax to help people smell the coffee and see what's going on here. But I know I've spoken to people who said, I used to think differently, and I listened to your radio show, and my eyes have been open, at least on this issue and that issue. The Democrats on abortion, on the United States of America, on war and peace. I think I have opened eyes. And besides, Robin in Georgia did say that, when it comes to white people, I might be one of the good ones. So that's pretty good. But how do I keep my cool? I honestly, I don't get too emotional and I don't get too hysterical. I'm calm, cool, and collected. And also, Cynthia wrote cool with a K here, with a capital K, like the cigarettes, which I liked a lot too. That was cool. Who'll be putting their cools out on my carpet? Hey, as you gear up for back to school and the fall season, your feet deserve the same level of support that you gave them very generously throughout all of your summer adventures. And that's why I am introducing G-Defy shoes with VersaShock technology, because unlike ordinary brands of shoes, G-Defy shoes offer superior shock absorption and a trampoline-like energy return on your feet. It's wonderful. And it can help provide you with relief from knee pain, ankle pain, foot pain, certainly, and even discomfort in your back. Whether you're a parent tackling a new school year, chasing after the kids day and night, or just hustling through the daily grind like so many of us, G-Defy shoes offer the comfort and versatility that your feet crave. My best girl and I, we each have a pair of G-Defy shoes with VersaShock technology, hiking around the city in them. They're wonderful. Every pair also comes with 2 free sets of orthotics and a special lateral stabilizer shown to help improve your stride when you walk, when you run. And as a listener to my humble radio broadcast, you get to enjoy a special back-to-school offer. You visit gdefy.com, and you're going to get $20 off your order of $100 or more on your new shoes with the code CHRIS. It's that simple, CHRIS. All you have to do is go to gdefy.com. That's G-D-E-F-Y, G-D-E-F-Y. And G-Defy is its name-o. Don't forget to use the code CHRIS for $20 off your order of $100 or more. Step into the fall season with G-Defy shoes. Visit gdefy.com today. That's right. And Bingo was his name-o. That's right. Yeah. We've got more corrupt media coming up. And what's Kamala doing tonight? That and a whole lot more. And in Seattle, don't even bother calling the police anymore.
Hold up! Hey! Who been putting out their cool on my floor? Who has been putting out their cool on my floor?
Now that's a little Cool in the Gang. A little Cool in the Gang you're listening to. My friend Robert pointed out when I was talking about the K in cool, because this fun mailbag question, Cynthia said, how do you keep your cool? And a cool with a capital K. I thought it was fun. I said, like cool cigarettes. And Robert said, it's also cool in the gang, They got a K on Cool in the Gang. They probably chose that because cool cigarettes, though, and Cool in the Gang. Cynthia got us going on Cool in the Gang over here just because she did a capital K on the word cool. Isn't that great? Yeah, I've got to say I don't get that riled up about. I like to look at everything in perspective. To put everything into perspective and to the context. I like to look at everything how it's gonna look when we look back on the century. And Robin is in Georgia, a nice man. He's wrong about a lot, but that's just because he's a Democrat. And you know how they are. All right, let's go to some audio here. Let's go to audio. Also, you may have seen, since I just mentioned audio, there is another media takeover taking place in the United States. The left, the radical left extremists, and George Soros. You see, George Soros' son, Alex Soros, who now has, tens of billions of dollars at his disposal, whatever, and he's dating, who's he dating? Humma Weiner. He's dating Humma Weiner. Humma Weiner is his new date, and they had a big fundraiser with Tim Walz, who did not go to Iraq, at the multi-million-dollar home of Alex Soros. He never worked a day in his life. He never earned anything. Democrats are happy to have billionaires on their side as long as they didn't actually earn their money for the most part. And Soros did bankrupt a bank, and he gathered up. They'd hate him if you're a Republican, the way he made his billions. But in any case, Alex Soros and the Soros clan, that's a clan with a K, kind of like cool, but it's not cool. And turns out that the Soros gang are looking at buying up Odyssey Radio. It's AU, Odyssey, AUDACY, Odyssey Radio. Odyssey owns hundreds of radio stations in the United States of America. And the left really resents the fact that people like me have a voice on the public airwaves. And since they're fascists, they want to tear all that down and destroy it. They're authoritarian and totalitarian. They're not freedom people. They're not free speech people. They're not good people. And they're not on our side. They're not on the side of Western civilization. But now the Soros cabal, they're looking at taking over Odyssey Radio, hundreds of stations, and the corrupt Biden-Harris FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, are apparently, according to reports today, fast-tracking the Soros takeover of hundreds of radio stations that they want to get locked up before Election Day because they're basically Nazis. They're fascists. They're communists. What's the difference? The difference is the flag. And just amazing. Same color of the flag, by the way, and it's red. And red is the left, and that's why I don't say, red state and blue state. Republican states are not red. The lefty states are red, but never mind that. So these Soros people with their ill-gotten billions, and the Democrats are happy to lap them up, and they're looking at taking over about 200 radio stations across the country. They want to fast-track it, get it done before Election Day, and the corrupt Biden-Harris administration and the FCC the FCC is being pressured to fast-track the left-wing takeover of media. They want total media dominance, like communists desire, crave, and often achieve when they take over countries totally, like North Korea and communist China, Putin's Russia, and Iran. And that's what the Democrat Party wants in the United States. They want our media environment to be more like the Iranian media environment. Also, I checked, and the Iranian president, head of state, comes to the United States. He gets U.S. Secret Service protection. The prime minister or the president will get U.S. Secret Service protection. Lower members of your defense minister or something, you get diplomatic security. The head of the parliament, then you get diplomatic security. DS, when that's the State Department version of the Secret Service when they come to the United States. So I just wanted to clarify that because that's what I do. I share information. All right, now let's go to soundbite number 9. Number 9, Tom Homan. You know Tom Homan, the border and immigration chieftain, now retired, and he's talking about the open borders. And Kamala's talking about maybe doing a visit to the border day after tomorrow, I think. But it's still just rumor at this point. But the media, they're falling around like little puppies with their tongues hanging out because they want to give a tongue bath. But Tom Homan on what's going on at our border and why people should care.
You talk about the child sex crimes. Under Kamala Harris, we'd have over 500,000 children have been smuggled into the United States, separated from their families, smuggled by criminal cartels, and released to the United States. That's your failure as the borders are. And I mean, add this. They've released these people to so-called sponsors. They don't vet properly. Now they can't find 148,000 children or their sponsors, and I guarantee you, based on my 3.5 decades of investigative experience, these children are in forced labor or they're in forced sex trade, and they're living a life of hell. This administration, what they've done on the border is disgusting.
What they've done on the border is disgusting, and all the missing children, the child sex trafficking, and that reminds me that the son of the would-be Florida assassin of Donald Trump, he was arrested on child porn charges yesterday. And it also reminds me that illegal aliens are being arrested all over Nantucket and on Martha's Vineyard, too. And overwhelmingly, it's for child sex crimes against children. Newsmax TV with the headline, and a great presence online, Newsmax, and a monthly magazine. ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, arrests 4 illegals in 48-hour span on Nantucket Island because they love child sex trafficking and sexualizing children in grammar schools and genderqueer books for first grade. Just amazing stuff. But Newsmax reporting Immigration Customs Enforcement agents arrested 4 illegal immigrants in a 48-hour span earlier this month on Nantucket Island, a tourist attraction in Massachusetts that includes several multi-million-dollar homes at a bare minimum. Just amazing stuff. So authorities arrested Felix Alberto Perez Gomez. They arrested Elmer Sola, and they arrested Guillen do Amaral Belafonte, and Brian Daniel Adelana Aravello, and they arrested them between September 10th and September 11th. The Daily Caller first reported on Tuesday, citing news releases issued by ICE, and authorities said that these individuals, they have been accused of sex crimes against children or others on the little tiny rich person island of Nantucket. I believe I was actually conceived on the island of Nantucket. I don't remember it, though. I was very young at the time. We have been consistent in our promise to prioritize public safety by arresting and removing egregious non-citizen offenders. Why not? Why just the egregious non-citizen? If they're illegal aliens and they commit jaywalking, you should hit them over the head with a nightstick, said Todd Lyons, Field Office Director for Enforcement and Removal Operations in Boston, in a news release having to do with Belafonte. This is not a hollow expression. It's a sincere promise to the residents of our New England communities. So these people, these illegal aliens, 49 years old, 28 years old, two of them from El Salvador, and they are child molesting criminals. And the Democrats have more and more and more of them being flown around the country, illegal aliens. So Aldana was arraigned Nantucket District Court, one count of rape of a child with a 10-year age difference, 2 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child under the age of 14. And get a load of this. It's Democrat Massachusetts. He was released on bail. Illegal alien child rapist. And Democrats, Kamala probably raised bail money for him. Just amazing stuff. Boston also arrested Analato on September 10th, served him with notice to appear in front of a Department of Justice immigration judge. And this particular guy, Aldana, remains in custody now, but they love to. And then the Belafonte, he's a Brazilian, entered the U.S. illegally, was found to have violated the terms of admission. And Belafonte voluntarily left the country in April of 2021. But then he came back in because he got caught. He left, and then he came back in because the back door is open, so to speak. Nantucket police arrested Belafonte in June of 2021, charged him with indecent assault and battery on a person 14 years younger than 14 years of age. And he failed to appear for his arraignment. Isn't that shocking? This is what the Democrats have done to our country. They're not on our side. All right, now let's go to number 10. Number 10. They what's with them and sex and children and honestly and Epstein and the internship program and Bill Clinton's White House. Also, we found out yesterday because that reporter lady who was, sending the dirty pictures to RFK Jr. Huh? Yeah, Olivia Nuzzi. Yeah, Nuzzi. Not Nazi, Nuzzi. And, she interned for Anthony Weiner when he was running for office. And all the intern girls were all called Monica by Weiner. Weiner just called them all Monica because, the Clinton White House, Monica Lewinsky, she's an intern. They're all interns. You just call them all Monica. Don't learn their names. Call them all. Why would Anthony Weiner call them all Monica? I don't understand. The Democrat Party should probably be incarcerated if you're a registered Democrat. All right, so here's Jake Tapper. He's a former Democrat Capitol Hill staffer, and now he pretends to be a news anchor at CNN. Amazing stuff. And he had Nancy Pelosi on, Nancy Pelosi, who is just a menace to civilization itself. But Jake Tapper asked a question, and Nancy Pelosi disapproved.
I get that she's from a middle-class family, but what about, like, here are the 5 things I'm going to do directly for you? Does she need to be doing more of that?
People like to have a connection to whoever is running for office, that they share their experience, that they understand their lives. And I think that's what she is establishing.
Now, he asked her, don't you think, even Donald Trump is saying that, and Jake Tapper said it anyway to Nancy Pelosi, saying maybe Kamala should hold a press conference or sit down and do an interview and answer questions. Just give us the top 5 things that you do as president. And Jake Tapper sounds a little frustrated as a shill frontman for the Democrat Party. And Pelosi said, no, she's doing exactly what she should be doing. She's connecting with the American people by not holding events and not doing interviews because they're Soviets. They are the reincarnation of the Soviet Union, and they live among us. Just amazing stuff. And then Jake Tapper asked Nancy Pelosi another question, and it just didn't go very well.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
Why would you even cover that? This is a person who's not on the level. He is their nominee for president. He is incompetent. Let's not even talk about the silliness of it all and the weirdness of it all and the assault on women that it is. We're not going to talk issues. Incompetent.
The what? Just launched an attack, the filthy rat. And Jake Tapper recoiled, and I can't ask any. She's too powerful for me. I'm too intimidated by her masculinity, her manliness. Isn't that amazing? Now, wait a minute. So if you raise a question about her cognitive abilities, it's an assault on all women? She's suggesting that all women lack the cognitive ability to be president? And besides, Dr. Jill Biden is apparently the president now. She was sitting at the head of the cabinet table the other day for their first cabinet meeting in the Biden White House in about a year. And her name was on the folders, too, that they handed out to people. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing stuff. Yes, sir. Now, am I going to be able to get to Kamala Harris is doing an interview tonight with just a bootlick Democrat Party hack on MSDNC. And the bootlick hack was on with other bootlick hack Bill Maher on Friday night. I'm going to try to get some of that bootlicking in before we wrap up for the day. So that's coming up. And then the big interview. And Joe Biden on The View today. Also, another hard-hitting place to sit down as a Democrat dimwit. Now, Joe Biden has a commerce secretary by the name of Gina Raimondo. Gina Raimondo, obvious organized crime connections. She is a former governor of Rhode Island, and now she's the secretary of the Department of Commerce. She was on this morning with Morning Joke on MSDNC, where Kamala is going to do her interview this evening. And Gina Raimondo seemed to suggest that Donald Trump should be assassinated, murdered, extinguished permanently for good.
What he says is the opposite. It's just another lie. Like, how did we get here? Let's extinguish him for good. We have an answer. We have a remarkably talented candidate who is sincere, who's pragmatic, who's open.
Which one?
Let's just get it done.
Who could she be talking about? He should be extinguished for good. Now, he was shot recently, and another assassin was arrested, and the Iranians, we learned yesterday, have a plot to. And the Commerce Secretary for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said that the former president should be extinguished for good.
Let's extinguish him for good.
Let's extinguish him for good. That's on MSDNC. Also on MSDNC, they have an anchor woman by the name of Stephanie Ruhle, who is a bootlick for the Democrat Party. She was on with the radical left-wing, stoner, America-hating Bill Maher, and sitting there with Brett Stevens, who is with the New York Times. And they're talking, and Brett Stevens dared to say maybe Kamala Harris should do an interview.
It's not too much to ask Kamala, say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No, I'm not.
Kamala
I just said I'm not going to vote for her.
Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy.
I don't know.
So it's unclear to me.
And they all clap. And what a threat he is to democracy. And there's no reason she should do an interview because you might not like the answers that she gives. She's for terrorists taking over. It got worse.
Let's find out a little bit more. And I don't think it's a lot to ask her to sit down for a real interview as opposed to a puff piece in which she describes like her feelings of growing up in Oakland with nice lawns.
Then I would just say to that, when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number and I'll be your next door neighbor. We don't live there.
That's Stephanie Ruhle. She's supposed to be a journalist at NBC News, and they pay her good money to pretend to be that journalist. Now, the Kamala Harris campaign chose, unsurprisingly, Stephanie Ruhle after that Friday night appearance on Bill Maher. Why would you want an answer to any question at all? What would it change your view? What, are you going to vote for Trump? And the New York Times fake conservative, Brett Stevens, no, of course I'm not going to vote for Trump. And this is the person that they've chosen to give Kamala a tongue bath this evening on MSDNC. And they're going to score this as a network news interview when it's nothing of the kind, of course. The Democrat Party and media dominance. We are Sovietizing our country. These people are not liberals.